We ain't afraid of no police, bitch. We got guns too. Don't need no tank. Got homies out the sunroof. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Harley Neville.
You good?
I'm good, yes. Thank you. Good cutting, Guy. I thought you were going to say something there.
Yeah, the problem is I had to fix the audio.
Good start.
Because the audio was peaking.
Ah, okay.
So I needed to change that, which then messed up the cut
Smooth
proceedings.
start. Welcome to the show, everybody. That was Kasky. He's from Yellow Wolf's Clique.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that sort of, cowboy, southern states, sort of white trash hip hop. He's all covered in the tattoos like Yellow Wolf and all that. But pretty good. But those lyrics evoked a really laughable image for me. Laughable of the world's shittest army. We ain't afraid of no police, bitch. We got guns too. Don't need no tank. Got homies out the sunroof. It's like all these gangsters with baggy trousers, like out at the top of a limo, with Uzis and stuff like that. Just a prime target for a fucking RPG. A prime target, like a soft-skinned target where you just need one drone with a grenade and you get them all. The world's shittest army. But yeah, that's what I thought of when I saw those lyrics.
So welcome along to the show. It's been a little while. It's been a while. But we're back. What's going on?
Well, we're still waiting to hear about the funding we applied for. It's going
to be another 4 weeks, right?
I'm not sure. I feel like they hear something soon.
I think they said 10 weeks from the time we submitted, and it's only been 5 weeks.
Right. Well, we're waiting to hear about funding for some short films. So, dream scenario, we get them both. Good scenario, we get one of them. Expected scenario, we get none.
Yeah.
Expected based on the years and years of rejection behind us, we get none.
Yeah.
But we'll let you know, dear listeners, how that goes.
I've done the cardinal sin.
Yeah.
Which is pre-planned my victory speech.
Yeah, right.
I pre-planned my Facebook post about getting it.
Yeah, right.
Which is if you ever plan anything to go well and plan on, if you should ever bank on success, if you should ever consider yourself to be a winner, don't worry, life will destroy those dreams. And so because I've thought of that already in my head, this I've pre-planned this update. Mm-hmm. It almost guarantees that we won't get it. I've jinxed it.
Yeah, well,
I've created the classic, which is as soon as you expect something, you don't get it.
It is good, though, that you have the enthusiasm and the hope is still alive. Because
it's
for
ridiculous.
me, I obviously didn't think of anything
ridiculous.
that I'm going to post. I didn't even occur to me to think of that yet. So and that's because I'm dead inside.
Give up.
Yeah.
Those posts where it's it took this guy X amount of years to do this thing.
Yeah.
It took this guy X amount of years to do this thing. And it took this guy X amount of years. Never give up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
That horse shit.
That should have been the name of the episode. Instead, it's third screen act, as we're here on the third screen while you're watching, you're checking your emails, you're doing some other stuff, and in the background on the third screen.
Third screen act. That's good. That's
the Guy
good.
and Harley podcast.
I like that.
Well, that's from last week. That's actually from last episode.
Right.
So in other news, I am a snitch.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a snitch, yeah. You see, because there's a bridge near our house, which I cross regularly. And this bridge, it's really sort of going downhill lately. Like, it's getting lots of trash getting dumped there and graffiti and all that type of thing. And that type of graffiti has always kind of annoyed me a little bit because it makes the neighborhood look like shit. It makes the place feel unsafe. Even when I was a kid, I wasn't like, cool, I want to be a graph artist. What a bunch of cool guys.
Yeah.
What a bunch of cool dudes sneaking out at night and graffitiing people's private property or public property, which I pay for with my taxes. Cool. What a bunch of cool dudes. You've made it feel unsafe and look dirty. Thank you. All right.
You've never been a street artist.
I've never been a graph artist. No. Look, I have been scratching my initials into stuff for years, and it's akin to that.
HN 99 is
Yep.
somewhere at fucking Logan Park High School if it's not been painted over or they've
Yeah.
replaced the desk.
Yeah, yeah. Probably haven't replaced the desk.
Probably haven't done that.
The oldest one, I think, is a HN 90. I think it's a 93. I think the oldest HN is an HN 93. So I've been doing those for a while. Been doing those for 30 years. And so, yeah, like, okay, look, here's why you do it, right? You do it for legacy. It's like you want to, it's like
HN was here.
HM was here, you know, like in the Paleolithic, they scratched their names into a rock and we see it nowadays. It's legacy is what it is.
Who is HN? Who was this mysterious HN of the 20th and 21st century?
Well, you know, and so you do that type of thing for this immortality a little bit, this legacy thing. It's why we do podcasts and why we make movies and, you know, why we build community centers and why we do all these different types of things for the following generation and raise kids and all that stuff, right? But in this case, you know, they're just sort of too stupid and lazy and unskilled to actually like do any of that cool stuff. So they just write their name shitly on the wall, you know, again and again and again and spray up the place.
I have to say, though, I do have a lot of respect for where some of these artists get to with them. So, like, when you see them on top of roofs or, like, on, like, these, like, sort of narrow, like,
dangerous
bridgeways across
places,
where there's nothing, and you're like,
how'd they do that?
This dude got up here in presumably the middle of the night, like 2, 3 a.m., and kind of hung off the side of a building to write this. I'm always astounded where they get to.
It is impressive. Do you know what they call that guy? Graffiti.
Right.
Graffiti. That's
see.
what they call it. A high graffiti that's high up, they call it graffiti.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to call it like like parkour art or something like that.
Yeah, parkour art. That's not bad.
Yeah, but-
Park art.
Yeah.
You do a flip and you spray on the way past. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so anyway, these sort of graph artist types, you know, they do it right. And part of it is they recognize each other's tags and they go, oh, wow, shit, check out that piece of graffiti that, you know, Pork did. Good old Pork. He's writing his name everywhere. Pork. I don't know if you've seen that around. Pork.
I haven't seen Pork.
Pork's been all around. I keep seeing big ones all around Auckland from Pork. And anyway, they, you know, they write their name out there. They hope that their mates will see it and everyone will go, oh, that's cool. And there's like an underground culture. Look, I get it all. I get it. But it's just still not very cool, you know? And so the other day, I was at the gas station, minding my business, gassing up, and a guy walked out of the store, plain as day, and then he was walking out to his car, and then he turned around and went and just used like one of those paint pens and wrote scribbled his, you know, doodly looking fucking shit, you know, tag on the wall at the gas station, and so I got a picture of him. And, you know, he had his number plate and everything like that. And he was like a middle-aged guy. This wasn't like some snot-nosed teenager, you know?
Right.
This was like a middle-aged guy who just, you know, walked out and just decided to do that, you know, force the staff to clean it or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I went inside and I gave the picture to the manager. I was like, look, this is what just happened. And she was really grateful because it meant that they had the time code of the security cameras because, you know, they have security cameras, but they don't have people monitoring them 24/7. So, you know, you just have to trawl through days of tapes if you don't notice it for a while, you know? So she was really grateful. And so she, you know, went back, look, she's going to, you know, send the CC footage to the police and all that stuff. But so they have this stupid shit's face, right? He went into the store and presumably paid with his own card. Then he walked out in the middle of the day and then he wrote his dumb tag on the wall. Then he got into his car with his number plate on it and drove away like a moron. And so it'd be cool if what happens is they catch him for that and then they go, cool, well, this is your tag, right? Okay, cool. Well, here it is here, 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 here. Here's all the dumb places you put it. And you know, you're going to be, you know, charged for all of them.
Community service.
Yep. And so the manager was so happy that she gave me a coffee and a pie.
Oh, man.
So it's like the old saying, snitches get free coffees and pies on their way to work. And praise. So be a snitch, kids. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens with that because, you know, obviously when that comes through to the police, right? Do they go, all right, Joe, get on this, go see this guy, you know, do something.
Yeah.
Or they go, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Depends how busy they are, I guess. I mean, it's kind of an open and shut case in the sense that, you know, they can probably identify them really easily, and they've got video footage of them doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, it's pretty much open and close. I assume it's not that bad, you know, that hard for them to kind of do that one. And maybe Joe will be like, boom, this is an easy one. Put this under my belt, you know, another list of accolades. Another crim behind bars. Another crim behind bars. That's what I'd do. I'd just go and look for all the real easy crimes.
Harley, the I'll just let me think about exactly how to word this properly. Harley, the future Banksy killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
destroying young hopeful artists and crushing them.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there'll be no more Banksies on Harley's watch.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. These guys aren't Banksy. If they were Banksy, you know, if he wrote something real cool, I'd be like, oh, it made me think with that one, didn't you, mate? Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it was just his fucking dumb name. His dumb, ugly name. Just ruining it.
Had that art been more visually stimulating and creative, you wouldn't.
I'd be a lot more forgiving. I would be a lot more forgiving.
You wouldn't have snitched on him.
I feel like I would have been less likely to snitch on him if it was like a good piece of. You know, I don't mind the fact that it's illegal. What I mind is that it's, you know, it looks like shit and it ruins the neighborhood. That's what I care about. So if you're going to go out there and do a good piece of art,
voting for Wayne Brown in the next elections. Brownie, no more tennis for Brownie. All right,
I wouldn't be voting for Wayne Brown. So yes, so that's the problem. Is it looks like shit. But if they made me think, then that's fine. I remember our friend Timmy. He did a great one time, and it was a piece of stencil art, illegal stencil art in Wellington. And what it was it looked really good. It was a old-fashioned diving suit. You know, those old ones from the olden days with the big round head and the grill you can look through in the front, and there's a tube connecting you to the surface, and your air gets pumped down into it. Well, this one was a tube coming out of the water, and it was a suit of this old diving suit, but in the face of the suit wasn't a human face, it was a fish face, and inside the suit was water.
Brilliant.
And it was brilliant. It looked great, and it was really well done, and it was kind of a Banksy type, you know, piece. It's like, okay, cool, look, I can get behind that. And it was like high quality, you know, like he had done it, you know, with skill and attention to detail.
Where did he put it though?
It was coming out of the Wellington Harbour onto the bottom of a bridge, a busy kind of intersection. So it was coming out of Wellington Harbour in a place where people could see it, and it looked cool, and it made you think. You go, huh, cool.
So did you watch him do that?
No. There was pictures posted of it, but then it got covered over really quickly by the council. So it was only there for a little while. He took pictures of it, I guess.
Well, there is another question here, which is it's all to do with the like sort of ramifications of your actions and how the intention of an action can sort of be noble, but then disregard the sort of reality of what that means. For example, you know, there's all these vegans and anti-dairy people like running in and like smashing milk bottles in the supermarkets as a statement about climate
animal cruelty
change
and climate change
and all that sort of thing. And on one hand, the message, there's nothing wrong specifically with that message. However, actually, what does this mean? It means some poor motherfucker on minimum wage has to go in and sweep up all your dumb unemployed shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the problem is like, so the intention was good, but what does it really, like, it doesn't, I suppose, you know, news
if the
outlets have covered it.
If the video goes viral, then it's...
But, you know, again, you think about the intention as like, one, you make people think about the guy cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Which is not good for your cause because it doesn't endear these people to the cause.
No.
You're like, oh, you guys are just irresponsible assholes.
Yeah.
Like, so there's that aspect of it. So it's not even that you're rallying people around the cause. You're actually stupefying the cause a little bit because people go, this guy's an idiot. Don't smash, make some poor supermarket, shelf stacker clean all that stuff up. You know, like it's almost like, for instance, that particular stunt, you'd smash it, you'd film it, and you go, hold fire, guys. don't worry, I'm going to clean this up.
Yeah.
It was just for the visual.
It's just for the visual.
We're going to put it up,
Yeah.
but I'm cleaning this up
Well,
just
there
so
you
you
go.
know.
That's the viral video.
That's the,
Yeah.
But obviously that's not what they do.
And obviously the supermarket might kick them out before they let them clean
it doesn't
up.
really work. And so I think there's definitely sometimes we think about these sort of grand artistic statements that we're going to make to save the world or to do something, or we're artists, man. Don't mess with us. We're brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't mess with our brilliance, man. And then it's like, okay, but let's really think this through. You're just fucking over some poor person who has to kind of clean up after you. And so even if you think about even his thing, right? The spray painting the under thing, I think that's cool too. But on the same token, it's like, the council, someone had to clean it up. So, and maybe they're paid to do that. So they're like, we need people to graffiti so I can clean them up. But I guess what we don't need is like, okay, that thing got graffitied. That went into the graffiti removal budget. That budget is X amount of dollars per year that we pay on tax, which could be, I don't know, for a new playground for the kids or something. It could be for anything. We have no idea where that money might elsewhere go, but it might go somewhere good that's not just essentially painting back over to restore the status quo of these things because you were a brave artist.
Well, exactly. These graph artists. That's why it's cool to be a snitch.
So yes.
In certain circumstances, it's cool to be a snitch.
Yeah, that's what you need to learn. But yeah, so I just think that cause and effect, we don't necessarily think about it. We just think the bold artistic statement is the important thing. And it's like, well, not if your own then taxpayers' money pays for that instead of getting the extra dialysis machine that was going to save your mum's life. But it's like, sorry, we didn't get that. So, damn it, graffiti. It's all your fault.
It's all your fault. I have got a missing tooth at the back of my mouth. It's been missing for a long time. It was because I went.
It hasn't been found.
I went to the dental school when I was young and poor to get a filling done, and they drilled too deep.
Classic dental school.
And then that was fine for a bunch of years, and then
until it wasn't
exactly,
and cost you way more money than the money you saved.
Well, it turned into a root canal.
Yep.
And then that root canal lasted for, 5 more years or whatever. And then eventually that got infected or whatever, and they took out the whole tooth.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, gross. I'm like a homeless man with no teeth now.
Toothless meth addict.
Yeah, a toothless meth addict. Now, I do blame the dental school, but I'm sure the years of scoffing lollies and sculling Coca-Cola also contributed. And had I not needed the filling in the first place, this never would have happened. So I do have to take some responsibility.
Cause and effect there, yeah.
Well, so the other day I got referred by my dentist to the orthodontist for a consultation to see if it would be possible to, put a fake tooth in there. They were going to do that, fix a false tooth into the upper drawer. And the orthodontist, the lady, the receptionist called me and she wants to book the initial consultation. I was like, okay, cool. Well, how much is that? How much is the consultation going to cost? And she said $230. And I said, yeah, but how much will it cost? Dad joke number one. But she did, so it's $230. It's $230. And I was like, yeah. That's the story.
Good.
It's good. But yeah. What else you got?
Should you elongate that out a bit more?
What do you mean?
230.
Yeah.
230.
Yeah.
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 230.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that really was the price.
Yeah.
230. And I was like, yes, it does hurty. But how much does it cost?
Yeah. What's that? It's that rush hour joke, isn't it?
What's the rush hour joke?
Oh, well, basically he runs into a bunch of people with they're all Asian and one's like called you. And then he's like, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Who's he? I'm he. You're you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I just touching on art, the subject of art, that actually brings a couple of talking points. So first, I just want to shout out Jez Housen on the live stream. He may not actually be on the live stream right now.
We do have Jared Murray, Tyler Adams, and Sam Wheeler on the live stream though. Well, shout out to them.
Yeah, he's probably working. Jezza is probably working, but he sent me the Batman comic book, the Batman graphic novel from the 1989 Batman. So he had a spare copy of this Batman, which is literally made in 1989, and instantly brought me back to my childhood. So I had that graphic novel, presumably in 1989, when the movie came out. I worshipped that graphic novel because you couldn't just watch Batman. So I'd just read the graphic novel. I would try and sketch bits from the graphic novel. I would draw little pieces of the graphic novel. And the graphic novel was like, it's a really good graphic novel. It's not like kind of a half-assed movie, you know, like tie-in. It's done really well. The art is really fantastic. It's really amazing. Anyway, he said, I've got a spare copy. I think we mentioned it briefly on the podcast. And I was like, yeah, man. Well, it came through the other day. And yeah, I just was flicking through it and I was like, holy shit. This brings back some cool memories. So I just want to say thank you, Jezza. Appreciate that.
It's worth several $1,000s.
It might not be worth nothing for sure, and it is in good condition. But he does have 2 of them.
Yeah,
but I guess he could have sold that one and made some money.
Yeah,
you should look into that, Jezza.
He'll be like, oh shit, I just gave away $10,000.
Batman #1. I do have a copy of it. I think somewhere in my parents' house, but like you know,
rooted and fucked up.
Exactly, not kept in good condition necessarily. And yeah, I just thought it was fascinating to sort of go back and look at that. But yeah, thank you, Jez. I really appreciate that. Now, on this whole issue of art and artists, I don't suppose you saw the Corridor Crew. I've lost you already.
Corridor Crew.
So Corridor Crew on YouTube is like a VFX channel, which sort of breaks down visual effects, and then they do visual effects, and there's sort of like a really huge channel. Anyway, they recently did this thing where they essentially created a rock, paper, scissors 7-minute anime, but they didn't do it by drawing anime. They did it using AI, computer generated anime, where they basically filmed themselves against a green screen, and then they were like, cool, using this program, they're like, use this style of anime from this TV series or movie called Vampire Hunter D, make it in that style, and then they sort of created and edited it together. And it's caused somewhat of a backlash online because essentially what they're essentially showing is kind of how the future of some of these things might be done, which is to remove the drawing and animation from animation. And so they were essentially like, hey, what's the problem here? We're just helping the community. We're just showing you a different thing. But obviously a lot of animators were like, well, no, you're
putting me out of work.
You're completely rendering us entirely obsolete.
You can't fight progress.
Well, that's the thing.
It's like the countdown self-checkouts. It's the same deal. You can't fight it.
That's Harley's take on this. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I wanted to, I guess, question you about is like, because for me, I guess my issue with it wasn't that they did it, because obviously we're all going to want to try kind of crazy things that, yes, narrow that, like, you know, so that once upon a time might have taken hundreds of people to create that thing that took them a couple of people and a couple of computers over a couple of months, right? So obviously you'd want to try it. My issue with that, or what they did, was their statement that they were democratizing the process.
Right.
Because it's like, well, no, you're kind of doing the opposite, because what you're essentially doing is you're removing several elements of the process that give people work, that give artists work. So you're not like making it easier for artists to work. You're removing them from the art. Yeah, exactly. From the work.
But that is maybe what they mean by democratizing. They're giving it to the people.
Yeah.
As in anybody can do it now.
I guess you're right, but they were kind of framing it like...
There's no gatekeepers. There's illustrating gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they framed it. They weren't saying like... Exactly. Those guys that spend 20 years drawing those gatekeepers of the drawn... like exactly. That's the point, is like... they didn't frame it like that,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
They framed it like these big corporations
Right.
make these things, and now you in your home studio can make it.
Yeah.
But kind of ignored the fact that the true thing is the drawing of
Yeah.
it, that without a computer, because and anyway, they've copped a lot of flack.
Yeah.
Your take on this is you can't fight progress.
So Sam Wheeler and I are doing a video together at the moment, in which he's using AI art,
Yep.
and we're training it with pictures that I provide.
Yep.
You know, it's great. It's awesome. It seems like it's like really quick progress. It's like, oh, let's just try something different. Try something different. It's quick and it's easy and it looks good. So, you know, I'm maybe a part of that problem. But also, like, yeah, you can't fight progress. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's like the self-checkouts at the supermarket. People say, oh, I don't work there, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, dumbass, go stand in the fucking line then. You know, stupid. Like, you just can't stop progress. All you can do is adapt to it. You know, they say evolution, right? They say it's survival of the fittest, but really it's survival of the most adaptable. And things are always going to change, and this is changing, and there's no way you can go, oh, we're all just going to turn off the AI now. We're turning it off. That's it. I'm taking the internet back. Give me the internet. You know, like, it just doesn't work like that. And so you've got to adapt is what you got to do. And that is what Sam Wheeler and I are doing, adapting.
by stealing.
No, we're creating a video with an original script with
stolen images.
With images well, I mean, some of them will be stolen images, I guess.
Yeah.
Some of them are images like of me, for example. So the images that I own. So there's a bunch of images that I own that are being trained into this thing. But then there's also presumably images of things that I don't have. Like, for example, a cruise ship. I don't necessarily have a picture of a cruise ship that I own the rights to. So that picture needs to be found on the internet and put into it somehow.
Yeah.
You know? So sure, that's not my image. But I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, look,
what do you
I'm
do
not...
about that? What do you do about that? You know what I mean? You can't fight progress. You're the biggest pirate out of you and me, right? In terms of like online stuff. And it's like, you can't. Piracy has just led to films being watched by more people in many ways, right? It's a similar sort of thing.
Well, yes. I mean, firstly, I'm not the biggest pirate, okay? I pay for a lot.
No, out of you and me.
Oh, yeah, I am the biggest pirate.
I didn't say you're the biggest pirate. I said you're the biggest pirate out of you and me.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, look, I think it's kind of interesting, and I'm not saying that what you're doing is bad necessarily, although obviously there is this kind of fine line between, it's like, well, like, if you're taking, like, so for instance, part of their thing was they were like, make Vampire Hunter D animation. Well,
that's a problem, right? Because you're taking the style of that artist and mimicking it.
That took him many, many years.
Exactly, and you're mimicking it and doing that. Yeah, a little bit different.
And I think that also, if you want to see a great example of what this stable diffusion can do, Sam Wheeler's released a music video, I think called Halloween, which he's got on his YouTube channel, which utilizes this technique. And what I love about this is that he was like way ahead of the Corridor crew for doing this, but no one's seen it because he's a small YouTube channel. So, but like he was sort of way ahead.
Nocturnal.
Like he essentially, Nocturnal on the YouTube. So he essentially did exactly what they're talking about. He did it in a slightly different way, but the concept is exactly the same. And it's fascinating to watch and look at. Like just visually, it's like quite stunning. But it is quite interesting to say, so anyway, I just thought it was an interesting thing to sort of talk about and look at, because that sort of leads into the next AI conversation. So what else I saw just recently on YouTube or TikTok or something was essentially a guy was like, so I used an AI voice thing and then I wrote a Kanye West rap, and then I got it to do Kanye West's voice. And then he shows him doing it, and then he shows the voice AI afterwards, Kanye West doing it. And it's like...
Does he sing it, and then it changes his voice?
To Kanye West.
To Kanye West's voice, yeah. Okay.
So, and he was like, and this is the first version of this. So imagine, like, this is the worst...
Can he sing? Is he like a good singer?
He can rap.
He can rap. So this guy can sing and rap, and he kind of...
Yeah, so he did the verse.
So he's not a complete talentless hack who goes, beep, 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 bop, and then it transforms it into a Kanye song.
He can spit some bars.
Yeah.
But I think that like he said, he was like, well, this is what we do for like, now this is the worst version of this. So if you think this sounds good, imagine what it's going to sound like in a couple of years.
Exactly, yeah.
Which then opens this whole thing of essentially all dead artists coming back to life. Not obviously, not in the flesh, but
their music.
Yeah, like from an artistic point of view.
Yeah.
Them like all old, specifically, let's just keep it narrow to, I mean, it's going to happen it's already happened in film with Grand Moff Tarkin coming back from the dead, and it will continue to happen. But like, so there's two things here. There's like James Earl Jones mucked about with this with the most recent, so he's retiring the voice of Darth Vader because he's 90, right? And he's like, I'm a little bit too old. And I did think when I heard Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, man, Darth Vader's voice sounding real sprightly in this one.
Right.
And it's because they actually used AI to enhance and change his voice to make it not sound like 90-year-old Darth Vader going, I'm quite tired by this stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he's essentially, they've paid him to do that. And now they're going to pay other people essentially like the estate of, say, old mate pedo Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
They could pay his estate and be like, yeah, we want to record some new stuff with Michael.
Yeah.
All we do is make up the lyrics and pay you for the voice.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of fascinating. Obviously, it gives artists a lot more longevity if people are still interested in listening to their thing. It also allows artists, sort of singers, if they're like, well, look, at 70, like John Bon Jovi is a great example of like, apparently he sucks now because he's quite deaf, obviously, and he's like, pushing 70 or in his 60s now, I think. And so his voice is not what it was. So he can't hit those highs. So when you see him live, you're there for the experience, but he's quite terrible. And so it's like for him to record for him to record another album, he can't be that Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Well, he can with AI.
Yeah.
And so there's
it's true, right? He could just write a new song, sing it as best he can, and then get AI to make it Bon Jovi in its prime.
Yeah, exactly. And then go give me 1980s.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
And so I think it's quite interesting, like where this is going. But obviously it does also create the copycat problem and the sort of...
the cheapening of it all.
Well, yes.
Anything. You just go, cool, well, actually, my favorite artist is immortal now, and they're just going to keep on pooping out these, fabricated, mimicry of what I used to like, and it's just going to keep on going and going and going like that forever, cheapening the whole thing. Yeah,
because... obviously part of
like the new Star Wars movies, they sold
when
those rights. When are they going to end?
We had a sequel trilogy, we had a prequel trilogy. How many of these trilogies are going to be?
Yeah.
We had a prequel before the sequels.
Yeah,
I mean, what the hell?
Well, we all predicted this. We all knew it was going to happen, and it did happen. And I'm sure we talked about it on this show where we said, like, Star Wars is going to like turn to shit like this, but it was still like exciting and interesting because hey, good, inject something new into it, and to bring back some of that thing that you love, But I just feel like they didn't really. Ultimately, it's a disservice.
Well, look, I think the biggest problem, obviously, is that guy didn't ask Kanye West permission to use his voice. Yeah. And the rap he did is essentially like, hey, I was a racist anti-Semite. Yeah. And so
Kanye is not going to be down for it.
And I need to kind of atone for that. That was essentially the crux of that rap.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that's not lyrics that Kanye West would write, but you can guarantee that someone on the internet is going to take this guy's version and essentially write a headline piece. Kanye West apologizes for anti-Semitism in new music.
Yeah.
And then they just clip out that bit. Yeah. They don't have any of that context.
No.
And that's a news story that people may take.
Yeah.
And like so I think there's this real problem, which is going to be like, yeah, okay, cool. You've got the kind of the better version of it where someone pays the estate or the artist to create these AI versions. But then you have the kind of the sort of the more dangerous version of it, where essentially which this is what I would do if I was 16. Fuck whoever it is that I just want to do something silly and fun. I just want to have them say like dumb shit. Yeah. And I'm just going to do that. Like
we're getting into the deep fake type combo
that's the thing.
as well, right?
and you see like people are now sort of making a living off these deep fake kind of TikToks and stuff where it's like Keanu Reeves goes into a supermarket. It's not Keanu Reeves. Yeah. It's a guy that's been face swapped with Keanu Reeves. Yeah. But you know, millions of people watch that. And like there's another one which I watch quite often, which we may have talked about, which is like Obi-Wan Kenobi reacts, and it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi face swapped onto a guy who can do the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. He's a voice artist, so now he kind of gets, he does Ian McKellen. He puts Ian McKellen's face on, but it's like, look, I get it. It's fun and interesting and it's cool. Yeah. But it's like, there's no way, like if I see, you know, when we're rich and famous, you know, at 45, you know, like when we're huge stars, the
huge
stratosphere,
podcasters.
Yeah. Like when we're like that, which I'm sure is just around the corner. And I see someone doing me, like have taken all that stuff from all the things that they can and made their version of me. Like, yes, I might be flattered at some point, but if they're making money off that, I would be way less. I'd be way less flattered. And also, if they're making me do things that I wouldn't personally agree with,
it's like slander kind of.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh shit. And also, it's like then you get into this also because we're so deep into cancel culture. You get these kind of sort of deep fakes being created to cancel people.
Well, actually, what I'm going to do is when I get really cancelled, I'm going to say it was a deep fake. I'll be like, no, I didn't say that on the Guy and Harley podcast, episode 259.
Or over, I didn't say that multiple times over 15 episodes of the Guy and Harley podcast dating back to 2015.
They're all deep fakes.
So yeah, like I just think it definitely uncovers like a thorny issue. But it also, to me, this whole new kind of AI revolution, Chat GPT, voice AI, video AI, all of it, right, is probably the third large scale history making, history changing event that we've lived through. Yeah. Yeah. So the first one being the
Harambe.
The internet.
Harambe, rest his soul.
So the first one being the internet, like the sort of creation of the internet, the internet becoming a thing. Mm-hmm. The second one being, and I obviously count everything from that. So social media. Yeah, all that stuff. Smartphones. All
internet related stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So that's and that's still probably going to be
connectivity.
The biggest. Mm-hmm. Then I would also say I'd probably chuck COVID in there. Mm-hmm. COVID being like a kind of a
even if you believe it was a scamdemic, there's still no denying that it was a huge zeitgeist changing, world changing, unprecedented thing. Yeah, that is we're still feeling the disruption from.
So you know, there's that, and then there's this. There's the sort of
AI revolution.
The AI revolution. But this one's, you know, brand new, really. Yeah,
and so we're on the forefront of it right now.
We are on the forefront, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all pans out.
Tell you what I would do.
But I'm just not sure it's going to pan out well for artists.
It can go, well, look, I think that we need to accept the future is fully automated luxury gay space communism. That's what the future is. That's actually what my painting this week is about. Yep. Fully automated luxury gay space communism. And what that means is everything we do is going to be redundant because we are inferior to the machines ultimately, especially once they become intelligent. So they can work longer, work harder, and work, you know, probably smarter and better and all of that type of thing. And we just need to live with that. Like, art can be manufactured now by a machine. A lot of tasks can be done.
It was really the last bastion. Well, it was really the last thing it couldn't do.
It couldn't do, yeah, but now it can.
But now it can. We have
now
nothing.
It really can. Well, that's the thing, though. The good news is what's going to happen now is we're going to use the machines. We're totally irrelevant. We're totally irrelevant, but we're going to use the machines to have a universal basic income. Everybody's got enough food, enough water, and good shelter, and we just live our lives, raising our family. We can still create art if we want to. There'll still be a market for human-generated art, It'll be like, you know how you go to the farmer's market and buy like a far shittier peach, you know, because it's organic and, you know, hand grown. You know, it'll be like that. You'll go to the, you know, the art market and you'll be able to get your, you know, you'll buy your art from real humans and you go, yeah, look, I only buy organic, you know. And it's
organic
like, yeah,
is human beings' art.
Yeah, I buy organic art.
And in fact, you have to have your art certified organic.
Certified organic art.
Which means essentially, and probably a computer does this too, but essentially the computer goes, this was, you have to go and like, it's like a Twitter blue check mark.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
You
verify.
Yeah.
You have to submit and verify your art that it was made, you, the human being made it, as opposed to all your AI programs.
Yeah.
That'll be a fascinating thing to go through.
Well, because it's the
My
same.
movie is 100% organic. Okay?
They're talking about universities as well with, you know, like how do they nowadays, right? The kids have all got to hand in their, you know, their papers at the end of the year, right? And their various essays and all that type of stuff. What the hell's to stop them from using ChatGPT? And then there are supposedly like, I don't know, programs that can kind of identify if it's
Some
AI
aspects
generated.
of it, yeah.
But the thing is, right, if you just write the draft of your one, smash out a quick draft of what you want to say, what you think is correct, you know, and then you smash it into ChatGPT 4 or whatever, and it spits it back at you, and it's different. It is yours because you're the one that fed it with the original kind of thoughts, and then you just tweak it and change it and take away any things that sound like too ChatGPT-ish, right? And so they're talking about having to do oral exams now, right? As in you go in there and you go, hello, I'm student number 30, and here is my, you know, verbal, you know, understanding of, you know, this topic.
Well, look, I feel like that's one of the few ways that you could, because essentially
You have to do time lapses. If you're doing a painting nowadays, you have to do a time lapse to prove you really painted it.
Well, yeah, or they're like, hey, you need to.
An AI generated
The other thing
time
you
lapse.
could do is, like you could screen record you writing it.
Yeah. Well, because you've got another computer. You just chat GPT and you just type it
you're
up.
just typing out from the other computer. Yeah,
type
true,
it up.
true. You go, wow, he's writing this really fast with very few mistakes.
Yeah. Well,
It's almost like he's writing it from somewhere else. Yeah, look, I think what the education system is the most fucked by this today.
Well, imagine if when we were 16, if you just had ChatGPT and you've got your school C exams coming up or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Well, of course you're going to use it.
Yeah. And exactly. And if I was a student in my digital media class, I would use it for whatever I thought I could. And yes, so I feel like this kind of, because it's all happened too quickly. It's all happened all at once. It's kind of like we're going through iterations of the AI, but the AI is learning so fast. It's like, oh, well, you know, you can kind of tell ChatGPT 3 is like, we're on to ChatGPT 4 and now you can't tell.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that it's happened way too fast for, say, the education system to work out any real way to stop huge, giant cheating going on. You know, right now, today, and schools. And I'm sure they'll be looking at like weird fail-safe stuff, but like literally teaching is going to start being like, they're going to have to essentially dedicate a whole section to marking and spotting AI fakes. Like that's going to be like a significant part of teaching now, is catching fakes, not teaching.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, no, like here's all the things you need to look out for in your students to know whether they're faking or not.
It is going to be really obvious when, you know, before ChatGPT, this young student, Harley Neville, hands in his thing coloured in with crayon, you know, his essay written in crayon, and then ChatGPT comes out and his next essay is this very articulate, well-written, perfect grammar. You know, you're going to know the dumb kids in your class. That there's no way that they know that's where a comma goes.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're going to get this, but how do you prove it?
Yeah.
How do you prove it?
You go, sir, yes, you know, you bring in the parents and the kid and you go,
listen, your kid's a moron.
So we
you
have
know that.
some very serious
I know that.
allegations here, but we believe that your son has been using AI in the classroom. And we believe that this is not his. This is AI, ChatGPT, and we're calling him out on this because I'm afraid that we've seen your son's work prior to this semester, and he's really stupid. And there's no way that his intelligence could have taken such a marked jump between these 2 semesters. So I'm sorry, we're going to have to accuse him of cheating. And not only that, really insult you,
and
the
your
job
genetics.
you've done as parenting, your genetics, and also, you know, everything that comes with that in this call out. I'm sorry, but we have to do it.
Tyler Adams says that ChatGPT is the pocket calculator for writing. That's exactly right. It is, you know. You used to have to do maths in your head and on paper, you know, and then boom, you get a pocket calculator. You don't need to know all that bullshit anymore.
I think it is, but it's also way more. It's way better than the pocket calculator.
Yeah.
You know, like some degree of that arithmetic has to be done. Like even like I guess the difference is you have to input
the correct numbers,
the correct calculations. And ask it to do so, and it's almost like
right
ChatGPT is the more evolved because it's like
it'll correct it for you.
I'll do those calculations for you. You know, I'll figure out what you think you need. You know, as opposed like I will sort of predict as opposed to simply just play out. You know, whatever it is that you've put in correctly.
The day that AI figures out the stock market, properly figures out the stock market, is the day that we either get our universal basic income or we live in a hellish dystopia, you know, ruled by the 0.01% who own the bots and all of that type of stuff. So it could go either way. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. But once the AI figures out the stock market, money just becomes an imaginary plaything, right? It's like, cool. Well, if the AI knows what stock is going to go up by how much tomorrow, then there's no game anymore. There's no gambling. Everybody puts all their money on that same stock. It doesn't really work anymore. Like it's either going to be, I don't know. Well, it's interesting times. It just makes me glad that I'm heavily invested in a well-established AI company.
What?
Tesla.
Oh, I wish you invested in ChatGPT.
Well, that's just micro. Oh no, before I don't know if you could invest in it
Maybe it wasn't
privately.
an open.
I don't think.
So now you just got to invest in Microsoft.
Exactly. Yeah.
Microsoft stock must be going up.
I'd say
Your stock is rising, number 2.
I'd say it would be, and it's funny because they are number 2 compared to Apple. You know, so your stock is rising, number 2.
No, don't at us in the comments. All of them are PC users.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few comments in the comments. From so just here, sorry, I lost it.
I've lost it.
What I was going to say is Sam Wheeler said that the images he uses to generate AI from, including the one that we're working on together, those are stock photos, which he pays a monthly subscription for. No piracy
all above
involved.
board.
It's all above board.
He didn't say do this in this, like, take these images and that, and Harley Neville, and do this in the style of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which would make a good YouTube video.
Great YouTube video.
We already did it.
Well, look.
We did it, but we did it in real life.
So, to be honest...
I think Tyler Adams did the VFX on that, maybe. Or Sam Wheeler.
When we saw the...
No, it was Sam Spooner.
It was Sam Spooner.
Yeah.
So, when we saw the... another power level is what R1 was called.
Yeah, but changed into... I live with a Super Saiyan.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The idea was to do another one where the Super Saiyan just turns into a Super Saiyan doing normal household stuff.
At opportune times. I feel like one
he's
of the
having
jokes
sex with
was,
his girlfriend.
he was sexual.
Or he's wanking.
Of course it was.
Or he's wanking.
It was wanking. I thought it was he was wanking and then he goes, ah!
No, I had admit, well, that would be one of them, but... and you cut outside the window. Yeah.
It could be called,
but it could also,
Definitely Not Wanking Part 3.
Yeah.
And then, like, essentially, it's like, hey, I'm just going to the bathroom now. And then it's like, the door gets blown off and he's just like,
Yeah, well, I thought the same thing, but maybe because there could be a sexual partner there as well, which might also be funny because you can cut to it from their perspective as well. He's on top of her. Or him. He's on top of them.
He's on top of them. They. Pronouns, people. So anyway... is all up above board is what
Yeah,
we're saying
that's
with
what
that
we're
stock footage.
Now, I've got some bad news, Guy.
Yeah.
We've run afoul of the Pakistani government.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
The Pakistani government have banned our video, episode 1 of the Guy and Harley show, the one that was going viral, getting 150,000 views per day, 200,000 sometimes. It turns out a lot of those views were coming from Pakistan, and the Pakistani government have found it, and they put in a request with YouTube, and it has now been geo-blocked. It is not available in Pakistan anymore. So we're still doing all right. We're still getting like 30,000 views a day.
Well, when's
from India.
subscriber budget coming? When is our when is it?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're still 15,000 subscribers away from receiving the 100,000 subscriber thing. We've got 85,000. It'll be awesome if we get it. We've got 85,000, but the problem is we were getting, at one point we were getting like 200 new subscribers every single day, and now we're down to about 75 new subscribers every day. Still good, but we've got 15,000 to get before we get our thing, So yeah, see how we go. But the problem is that the huge part of those subscribers will be subscribing from Pakistan.
Shit.
Well, no, I guess they can still see our other videos. The channel is not blocked. Just that specific video is blocked. I'm assuming that the reason why it was so popular in Pakistan is maybe because porn is banned there as well. You probably can't jump on Chatterbait over in Pakistan. So
also everyone can relate to a guy having an awkward one night stand with a hot girl.
Yeah.
And it not going amazing.
Yeah. Go watch that it's on the Pigville YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pigville and the number 2.
So
it's our most viewed video.
Yeah, we're in the third dramatic change in history of our lives. That's it. That's all I got.
No, I think that's true though. I think that's true. And they're all happening so fast now that there'll be something else soon, and something else, and something else, and it's going to be exponential growth is what it is. It's exponential change is what we're facing here.
I just thought it was like we had kind of. I just feel like it's going to be versions of AI doing different things because we've had versions of the internet and versions of web and social media and all that sort of stuff that's going out now and out, and now we're going to have it started with ChatGPT, voice AI. Fucking face swaps and shit, and it's just gonna go.
Well, it's going to become one of those things where everything is true and nothing is real, or whatever that saying is. Where basically everything in the world, you can't. You've got to make your own reality now. It's like 1984. You just believe whatever you've been told. Whatever the official thing is.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is what a lot of people choose to do.
Yeah. And you just make up your own reality. You go, no, look, this is real and that's not true.
And I've got the evidence to back it up if you just look at these YouTube videos.
Exactly. Look at these YouTube videos. It's all here. It's all on my social media. The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat. Whatever it is. Nothing is true. And that's it. Nothing is true and everything is possible.
Well, it did make me, when I saw that Corridor Crew thing.
Yeah.
What did make me, think of was Zombie Holocaust 2. Now, obviously, you could technically face swap yourselves with a younger version of yourselves.
Yeah.
But obviously, you just set it 15 years later.
Yeah, that would be the ideal.
Right. The problem with that is that no one wants to make a movie to an unsuccessful movie, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It's not something that people are really gunning for sequel to Ice of It. They go, cool, so you want to make a sequel to a flop film, do you?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say Zombie Holocaust is a flop and it was this huge bomb that but it was also
cost a lot of money.
It was a film that didn't cost a lot of money, but it also didn't make any money.
Yeah.
Or didn't make back its money.
And nobody really heard about it.
Yeah. I'm wearing I Survived a Zombie Holocaust
T-shirt. I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. Go find it somewhere.
Go find it wherever you can, which is not so many places. Well,
because you're taking it.
I'm taking it down.
Yeah, and then at the moment, I Survived a Zombie Holocaust was available. We had a distributor, sales agent. Then we're no longer with them. We've got the rights back, but all the deals that they did still exist.
Well, not all of them,
and they need to expire.
But some need to expire.
They need to expire.
The main one being the one that we get back in August.
Yeah,
which is all the US. US, and then we kind of have actually most everything back.
Yeah,
and we can do New Deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Without
my idea
aggregator.
for the sequel was like, cool, let's just make it animated, because then all we need is essentially a green screen.
Yeah.
And you guys to run about on the green screen. And
Yeah.
then we just corridor crew and paste over it.
Yeah.
And it's just an animated sequel.
Yeah.
I feel like that's less effort, considerably less effort than trying to shoot. Well, one, obviously we could, like, rather than like Robert Downey Jr., you and like Avengers or Civil War or whatever it was, when you see the young version, like that's the hardest version.
Yeah.
Is to
I thought you were going to say a Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, it would be a Scanner Darkly-esque, because that's essentially the old version of what they did. And so, like we could do that, and we just essentially bring a whole bunch of people back. We still have to kind of go through some of the actions, but like, so for example, like a practical effect of a zombie being beheaded is as simple as you walking up and swinging at a zombie.
Yeah.
And then, you don't actually have to have the practical effect.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like, you guys can walk around these post-apocalyptic areas and they're just made up.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like there's a opportunity to make a very cheap sequel in this style, where we sort of kind of essentially corridor crew it, and we just shoot everything on the green screen. The only part is we're still going to need like, say 20 or 30 zombies on some days to be zombies. But even that is easier to all bring you into the studio on the green screen than running about in the middle of fucking nowhere in the middle of the night on some boggy swamp.
Yeah.
Like it's still way easier.
Well, all we need, mate, is a script. You get a script and then we get started. Easy peasy.
So,
We've still
we've
got
got
access to most of the actors.
Yeah.
Most of the actors that survived at least.
Yeah, well, I guess my issue with it as like a plan is, well, one, it's going to take a significant amount of time to write that script.
Yeah.
Two,
well, not with ChatGPT, mate. You load it up with Guy Pigton's previous writing.
Yeah, or we'll load it
training.
up with I Survived the Zombie Holocaust,
exactly,
the original script, then feed it the sequel outline, and then go write 100-page script.
You got it. Mate, do it. And then we read it, we tweak it, we, change a couple little bits and bobs. Then we hand it off to Sam Wheeler and Tyler Adams, and we go,
I think
come back with a feature film.
I think that's the issue, is that like while you kind of way condense the shooting and make the shooting relatively easy, you then way expand the post because then obviously every shot is a shot. It took them 3 months, corridor crew, 3 months working on it full time with like these super seasoned VFX artists. Now, obviously, it's going to get easier as things go forward, but it took them 3 months to do 7 minutes. So how quickly are we really going to or how quickly could, our two-man team will we work on it? Just what I'd hate is to write it, to shoot it, and then like these guys go, cool, we're into it, and they get like a third of the way through. They're like, fuck, this is way too much work.
This is
like,
more than
we're out.
We're just making the movie for you.
This is going to take another 5 years for us to essentially roto corridor crew this.
Yeah,
that would be the problem. So
well, Tyler Adams says do it. And he wants the sequel. So
yeah, well,
we've got his support.
There we go. Someone says, keen to reprise my elderberry zombie role as an extra.
Ooh, there we go. So, that's Nabby McNabb.
Nabs.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, nice one, Nabby. Thanks for tuning in.
And he could too.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, I don't know, I just feel like that's like an avenue that like a lot of sort of indie filmmakers will be going, cool, we're going to do it, we're going to corridor crew this movie doing what they do. Where they're going to run into trouble is if they go, do it in the style of
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, because that's how they're going to get sued.
Yeah. Well, that's a great thing. We can do it in the style of Guy Pigton.
Well, do it in the what they're talking about now is essentially rather than employ hundreds of animators who have learned over 20 years to do this thing, you get one.
Yeah.
And that one guy draws the concept art.
Yeah.
And then they feed that into the thing
and do the rest.
So so Corridor Crew have successfully removed hundreds and hundreds of drops from the process.
Yeah.
And now it's just one guy. And so this guy, like, the problem is, like, now it's like, hey, I'm going to be an animator. Animator where?
Yeah.
Because the computer does that
Yeah.
now. But we still need this one guy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so was this one guy like this super elite cartoonist that
He's
like,
the one?
He's just yeah, exactly. He's like the fucking Neo of drawing that kind of excels beyond everyone else, and they're like, oh, well, we just hire that guy to do that.
I don't think so. It'll be democratized, mate. Everyone will be able to do it. It'll just be anybody will do it. So I'll draw a crappy
You'll draw
picture.
a stickman doodle of a zombie by a volcano. We'll feed that in. Feed that into the algorithm.
And away you go. And it might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Adams says there's also the idea of doing an Unreal Engine 5 version as a web series.
Yeah.
Still works. Works for me. Works for me.
Not bad either.
Ongoing content. Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's good. He says it takes a day to do 2 to 3 shots.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about a movie having about probably a couple thousand shots, let's just say, I'm trying to remember, but it was sort of like, I can't remember how many I Survived Zombie Holocaust had, but it was something like 1,500 or 2,000 around about. So if we just use my pocket calculator here on my smartphone to work this out, so...
You're doing 1,500 times 3 days. Is that what you're doing?
So 1,500
4,500.
So, 1,500 divided by 2 is 750. 750 day.
What are you trying to figure out? So you got
how many times? So if it's 1,500 shots,
there's 1,500
and you
shots,
do 2 to 3 shots a day.
Yeah. So how many days?
750 days.
Yeah. So if it's 1,500,
which is
wait, what? 2 to 3 shots per day. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Divide it by 3. So 500, say.
Or 750 if it's 2 shots per day.
Yeah.
So it's 750 days for working full time on this.
Yeah.
But then divided by what? So it's like just under about 2.5 years.
So does it take that many days, even using the AI? Is that what you're saying? It takes 3 days to do. Oh, sorry, a day to do 2 or 3 shots, even using the AI.
Yes.
So we film it. But that's a separate thing because we do that first, right? And then you go into post-production and then putting in the images and telling it to mimic the style is not entirely instant. You've still got a whole bunch of refining to do in order to, and you're still only getting 3 shots per day, even using the AI.
Yeah.
But you're getting 3 fully animated shots.
Fully complete
shots per day.
In theory.
Okay.
So that would mean that it would take, if you worked on it every day, it would take you, just like two and a half.
Nah, we'll democratize it, mate. We'll put it out into the internet and go, hey, who wants to do 2 or 3 shots for us? You know what I mean? Get 250 people to do get some 3 shots each.
Poor artists on Fiverr to
exactly, Fiverr
to work on the So anyway, apparently they're working on a sequel.
For paper, scissors, rock.
Yeah. So Nocturnal, 2 to 3 shots a day. Interesting. So maybe when we can get to 10 shots a day, that's when we kick that off.
Or we just do a shorter thing. We do a smaller, like a short film, essentially a Zombie Holocaust 2, short film follow up. And it's 10 or 20 minutes. And it's telling some little story, and you use it as a proof of concept for the feature version when you get some money for that somehow.
Yeah. Or we could just make a new film.
Or we could just make a brand new film. Rather than building on our previous success. So it was sort of successful in the sense a lot of people saw it. We would be feeling a lot more successful if we'd got more of the money, because money was made. People saw the film. Millions of people saw the film. Money was made. We just didn't see much of that money, so it doesn't really feel like too much of a success.
That's certainly a significant part of it. And also if it just directly gave us a lead on to another film.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That would have been the real key
Wow,
for
these
me.
guys from Zombie Holocaust, let's give them $2 million to make the next one.
Yeah. Oh, these guys are talented filmmakers of the future. Let's
invest in them.
Let's see what they're doing next. And so that was... Nocturnal says, make the wrestling film. Oh, well, I will, Sam. I'm running out of time as well, so I better get onto that as well. That's an important one.
I got a couple of shout outs here. Robert Yates, Nico Medill, Alicia Ha, Kef MZ, Mark Cookson, and Keegan. I can't remember Keegan's last name, but I used to work with him.
Keegan Michael Key.
I know you're listening, Keegan. No, that's not his last name. Got some shout outs there to those people. Cool. Well, mate, that's all my notes.
Yeah, that's all I got to. Oh,
I did have a short, an audition for an unnamed show that I am waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear if I got. It's for. I've reason to believe that Shortland Street might be rebranding to Shortboard Street. They've asked me to come in. I did an audition and now I'm waiting to hear. Now I do want to talk about this one way or the other, but I can't. It's a good,
so you've done it now.
I've done the audition. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So man, I can't wait to talk about that.
It's going to be funny.
Oh my word, it's going to be good.
But the thing is, okay, we can't talk about it until either I get the role and shoot it and it comes out.
Yep.
Or I don't get the role, they shoot it, and it comes out. But either way, I can talk about it after it's come out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's
a long wait.
No. Well, I think they're about 6 weeks behind. I heard that Shortland Street's about 6 weeks behind. So they film, and that episode, the stuff they filmed that day comes out about 6 weeks later. So I know when they're filming next month, and I'm still waiting to hear if I got it. So either way, whether I get it or not, they're filming it next month, and then about 6 weeks after that, we'll be able to talk about it. So considering we do one episode every 6 weeks, it'll probably be next
episode.
It'll be next ep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah. Cool. So I think that's all I've really got to say for now.
Yeah, no, thank you everyone for joining us on the live stream. Good to see all the great VFX artists who will soon be rendered
all
obsolete.
These redundant VFX
to be
artists.
Honest, they're going to be the ones that are safest for longest.
Yeah.
Because they're the gateway between the AI. And in fact, it's it's the same
they're
old
the interface.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same old story where it's like, we go to Tyler or we go to Sam, we go, hey man, can you do this? And he's like, yep, well, I can do it.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot though.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot. So, and we go, okay, cool, here you go. And then they do it, but they literally do 3 different AI things to it and they go, and it took them 2 seconds. Not right now, but like that's eventually will be the sort of thing.
The thing is,
so they're the safest.
There
of
is still
all
going to
of
be
us.
work for people that want to interact with AI because, for example, I could interact with AI right now to write a script, but I'm not. But I could pay somebody to go and do that for me if I needed a script. Or same with the video. I could go and learn how the AI works and fill it full of images and then generate some stuff and muck around with it. But I don't really feel like it, right? Yeah. So, well, that's cool. I'll work with Sam. Sam can do it. I know he's using the AI. That's good. Means I don't have to.
Yeah, in fact.
So there's still work there for people who are willing to interface with the Matrix.
AI VFX hybrid filmmakers may be like the new kings of sort of this new world.
They've got
so
all that old knowledge combined with the new technology.
Sam and Tyler, who are both sort of in that space. So they'll be our overlords.
Yeah. All right. Well, on overlords and
working with the VFX overlords. Shit.
On that note,
it used to be the director's medium.
We'd better get the hell out of here. So thank you very much for watching. Please use all the links down below. Those are really useful. Subscribe and watch our movies and do all of that good stuff. That really, really helps us. And hit thumbs up before you leave as well so that maybe somebody else will find this episode and fall in love with us just like you have.
Also, just before we go, maybe I just want to throw this story in.
Okay.
So I wrote a short script or the outline of a short script that I wanted to turn into a feature, which literally predicted this. I wrote this probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But the idea was that essentially actors worked with CG actors who were essentially AI.
Yeah.
And like the AI had become bigger stars than the real actors.
Right, yeah.
And one of these actors who's like the lead guy is kind of like a down and out. He used to be like this big shot actor, but he lost the Oscar to his AI brother in the film that he was in. And his career has sort of slumped and he's gotten older. Obviously that AI actor stays the same age permanently.
Yeah.
And kind of it's about like his sort of him uncovering this sort of nefarious plot whereby the people are essentially killing actors to buy their likeness and make like studios are buying their AI likeness from the estate to make movies, but they're actually killing the actors because they don't want to deal with real life actors anymore. That's way harder and there's way more strings attached. So they just use the AI thing. So what I'm saying is, although I'm only saying this now after this AI revolution has just happened, I've got a dated thing on my computer that says like, I thought of this shit
Yeah.
way ages ago,
Yeah.
man, and now we're actually doing
You
it.
predicted it.
I thought of this sci-fi shit, now we're here.
This is the motherfucking thanks I get.
Exactly. I thought of this sci-fi shit.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you very much for watching. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
See you later.